This is Season 2 of the Books as Bad as Twilight podcast,
where we're reading Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by Jack Thorne.
Visit us at our website, www.babatpodcast.com.
Get lost with us in the magical world of Harry Potter.
Not
Season 2.
Like, I wrote Chapter 2, and I know I'm not happy with it. Yeah, I know I'm not happy with it, but I already know what I'm not happy with. Mm-hmm. And so my next step right now is sitting down, fixing it real quick, and then editing it. Yeah. I actually have, I don't have it with me, but I'll show you later. I have a calendar that I'm trying to stick to with that and level story.
You're so ambitious with this stuff.
I know.
Like, God bless it. This is why you don't have time, because you're so ambitious.
I know, yeah. So I really want to focus, and I think I can do it if I just stop watching YouTube videos and actually sit down and pay attention to what I have to do, you know?
Yeah. I think that has a lot to do with people. It's just this day and age. The only way you could get stuff done is if you disconnect.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so hard to disconnect nowadays.
And the thing is, I know I can do it. It's just, it's me, it's myself holding myself back. It's like, I'm like, oh, well, I have to work, but I'll just watch one YouTube video. Well, it's okay. I'll just watch one more. I'll just watch one more.
It's only 5 minutes. It's only 7 minutes. It's only 15 minutes.
Yeah. That happened to me last night. I was on frickin' Tumblr. I'm getting addicted to it again. And I'm going through my likes. I'm like, oh, I'll retweet. I'll put this there. I'll put this
repost,
in the queue. Yeah, repost. And then it was 11 o'clock, and I was like, well.
Damn you, Tumblr.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, I still want to watch Avatar. And I did.
That's really funny.
So, that's my priority.
Yeah.
Sleep. Who cares about sleep?
Yeah, you sleep when you're dead.
Oh, yeah. So true. But
you ruined my transition talking about Avatar. I was going to talk about Tumblr.
Tumblr. Oh, Tumblr. Tumblr's great.
Were you on your Tumblr or our Tumblr?
I was on my Tumblr.
Well, you should get onto our Tumblr.
Yes.
For our podcast.
Yeah.
Which is...
Books as Bad as Twilight. We're doing good.
Yeah.
We're set for life.
Just because of that one transition.
Exactly.
Set for life.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we want to welcome you all to Books as Bad as Twilight. My name is Brittany.
My name is Danielle.
Woohoo. And what's your name? Tell us on our Facebook group. We are a podcast sponsored by Audible.
Indeed.
Yeah, we have a special promotion. We are sponsored by Audible. Did I say sponsored, or did I say...
It,
Yeah.
It was
so
implied.
We're sponsored by Audible.
Yes.
And if you follow the link, audibletrials.com/BaBaT, you could get a free 30-day trial along with a free audiobook, which is yours forever and ever. And you don't have to renew your membership and still have access to it.
So true.
So might as well get a free book out of it all. And there's over 180 titles, so you're not losing anything. Go sign up for Audible. It's neat.
Yes, it is. The way you just said that was amazing.
I was like, do it. All right, what points do I have to get? Free, 30-day, 180 titles.
I can do this. You know what? People don't realize, when I used to just listen to podcasts, I'd be like, oh, I can totally do this. And then I went to do it, and I was like, oh my God, remembering all this stuff, it is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I say that, sarcastically, but I'm not being sarcastic.
You say it every week, and I feel bad, so I said
don't feel bad. Even every week. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's just the type of friendship we have.
We do. We have such a good friendship. It's like, wow, I'm not listening to this podcast anymore where they gush over their friendship. God, so
there's
friendship.
Two females talking about feelings. But
anyway, sorry that I know it might look weird what I'm doing. My foot is really itchy. I got a bug bite.
Oh, that works really well in audio form.
I know it does. That's why I said it. That's why I said it, Brittany. God.
Danielle.
Yeah?
What are we doing today?
We're finishing. We're finishing the play.
Did you say finishing?
Finishing.
Thank God.
Thank God, indeed. I think God heard our prayers.
He's like, I'll make this last act only 15 scenes so you could get this over with.
God bless us.
Does that make Jack Thorne God?
No. God. I didn't intend that.
Oh, that's really funny.
All right. So let's get into it. Act 4, Scene 1. Let us begin.
We are at the Ministry of Magic in the Grand Meeting Room, where there are witchers.
That's
God
amazing.
damn it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Where there are wizards. Oh, God damn it! Where there are wizards and witches from all over, cram into the Grand Meeting Room.
Yes.
Hermione walks into a hastily made stage. Why are they making stages? Can't they just transfigure one?
Look. Don't think too hard.
She raises her hand for silence. Silence falls. She's surprised at the lack of effort it took, and she looks around herself. Was she just like minister yesterday? Like, did she just become Minister of Magic, where she's shocked that people are paying attention to her? You know, like the brightest witch of her age, defeating the Dark Lord, helping Harry Potter, like in the past 7 years of their childhood, Minister of Magic, and she's still shook over the fact that you're like, it's Hermione.
It's Hermione.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Brittany. You know how it is. Like,
no, I don't. I'm so confused.
Well, Brittany, you are the only one. Okay?
I'm getting so hype on this Monster Energy Ultra Black drink, sugar-free.
Oh my God. You got really enthusiastic there. I mean, I love the enthusiasm.
Just about 300 miles north of Chicago, nestled on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan, is the cherry capital of the world.
I'm just laughing because of like the way we're interacting right now is very physical, and like nobody can see it. Like how you're holding up the can, and I'm like looking shocked, and like you're like holding it out in front of you, and it's like nobody can see what we're doing.
This should have been our live one. Monster Energy. Did you ever see that? We'll have to link it in the show notes. But it's that like uber Christian lady talking about how Monster Energy is for the devil.
No.
Because the 3 lines on the front is a representation of 666. And like when you drink, like when it bottoms up and the devil laughs is like...
I definitely will have to link that.
It's so funny.
That makes me think of, this is not as funny as probably that is, but the documentary Jesus Camp, and they're like, Harry Potter is a warlock? And I'm like, and I remember like legitimately that made me question my love of Harry Potter. How messed up is that?
See, that questioned my faith in God.
Well, probably
it's the complete opposite reaction.
I know. Well, I remember being like,
well, not in God, but in the church. Go on.
Well, yeah, that's true. Because I was gonna say when I watched it, I was at a point where I was like, well, I'm really convicted to my faith. Like, so should I not read Harry Potter? And I thought about it. That's silly. Harry Potter is not bad. Harry Potter is actually good and has a lot of Christian themes in it. Mm-hmm. So,
Hermione is calling attention to everyone in the Grand Meeting Room. And she's basically saying, what?
She's saying for people, like, she wants nobody to ask any questions, and so she can explain what's going on. So she explains, like, that a student was killed, that being Craig, and then she talks about how they found evidence that Voldemort has a child, specifically a daughter.
Yes.
And this is kind of funny because McGonagall is like, she? A daughter? He had a daughter? And Hermione's like, yes, a daughter. Professor McGonagall. And is she now in custody? Harry, Professor, she did ask for no questions. I'm like, Harry, come on now, both of you.
Harry or McGonagall?
Harry said that to McGonagall.
I know.
I agree with Harry, but still, like, I just don't like any of it. McGonagall wouldn't interrupt. Harry, come on now, have some respect for your elders. Anyway, but
Hermione then chastises Harry.
That's true, yeah.
That's fine, Harry. No, Professor. That's where things get worse. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. That's where I imagine, like, the score going in the play.
Yes.
I'm afraid we have no means of taking her into custody, or indeed stopping her from doing anything. She's out of our reach. It's so cryptic.
So cryptic. And so let me pose you this. Mm-hmm. So at the bottom of 248,
yes,
Harry says, I'll just read the whole thing. No, she doesn't deserve that. You have a right to be angry. You all do. But this is not all Hermione's fault. we don't know how the witch got a hold of the time turner, whether my son gave it to her. And then Ginny says whether our son gave it to her.
Yes.
When was that ever in conflict? Like, I know it's just a very minuscule line. It's not something to harp over, but that really gave me pause to make me think, when was it a question that Albus wasn't both of their children, or their child?
I don't think it's a question of both of their child. Mm-hmm. I think because earlier on in this play, they're talking about the very first couple of scenes when Hermione's like, not Hermione, Ginny is like, they're always looking at you. She is taking responsibility for her own child instead of Harry taking all the blame. Mm-hmm. You know, like, because from the way this is set up by Professor McGonagall saying, shame on you, Hermione Granger, Harry's saying, she's not the only one to blame. It's my son, too. So he's taking responsibility for Albus's actions. And Ginny, who also is the parent, wants to take responsibility. Okay. It's not so much that there's a conflict of his heritage.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. Yeah, when I first read it, I was like, it seems like a very weird line placement to me. I get now that you're explaining it, yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just like a weird, I don't know. It just seems like it's, like, just the way it's like, it just stood out to me so much. Like, he's our son, as if that has been a theme that Harry feels that, like, it was his, which maybe he has. It's his burden, his son, and what's going on. But, you know, I don't know.
Well, it's enforced later with Ron.
Right. Yeah.
Saying that, just to say, I don't know much about what's going on, and I can't take responsibility for it. And I'm pretty sure my kids have nothing to do with this. But if we're all standing up here, I'm to blame as well. So it's like when I'm trying to think, was it in Harry Potter?
Are you thinking of the scene in the last movie where they all stand together?
Maybe.
I don't know.
There is a movie or a book, and I don't quite remember what it is, but someone's like, I'm so-and-so. And then, like, goes, no, I'm so-and-so. And, like, everyone goes, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this other thing. Like, the same person. They all are claiming to be the same person. Do you know who I'm talking about? Oh, my God. It is driving me insane right now.
Okay, let me really think. It's, like, on the tip of my tongue. It's like it starts to come in my brain and then it leaves.
Yes, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you?
I think I do. Okay, oh, wow. I don't even want to stop thinking about it. I really want to know what the answer to this is.
I'm Googling movie where they all claim to be a single person.
Okay.
Nope.
I'm trying to think. For some reason, like, I know this is not the answer, but I was thinking Dead Poets Society, but that's not it.
That's when they all stand up and say, my captain, my captain.
Right. And I know that's not it.
That was the second thing that came to my mind. But this was like...
It's not, yeah.
This was, the person is...
Has to escape or something?
They're anonymous. And they all take the name, and even it's like different genders saying like a girl came forward and said, no, I'm so-and-so, even though it was a boy's name.
Right.
And then they all started coming forward.
And I feel like we've talked about this before. Like, oh my God.
Like, no, I'm Harry Potter, but it's not Harry Potter.
Oh my God, what is it?
I'm going to call Kevin.
Good idea. Okay. I know in Avatar that actually happens. That actually happens in Avatar.
Is it in Avatar?
I don't know if it's what you're thinking of, but in Avatar, in book 3, there's a scene where they're in the Fire Nation. They have a dance in the cave, and they're trying to protect the Avatar, and everybody says, or they're...
Oh, I'm Aang?
Yeah, something like... But that definitely happens, but I don't know if that's what you're thinking of, but that is what I think I'm thinking of. This is the scene that I'm thinking. This is not it exactly, but this is like... It's like...
That is definitely not...
Yeah, because they're all the kids he has to hide, basically. Like, they're looking for the person who started it, and all the kids say, like, they all dress up as him, and they're wearing his, because he's wearing a bandana to cover up his arrow.
Yeah.
So I know that's probably not what you're thinking, but that's what
it's definitely not what I'm saying.
But it's probably a trope that's been used a lot.
Yeah.
So I really want to know what you're thinking of, because I think that's what came in my head. Oh, now I just want to watch Avatar.
All right, well, let's continue on with this.
Agreed. We'll think of it. It's kind of, you know what it reminds me of? This is the scene, like, remember when I told you there was a scene of The Princess Bride stuck in my head for the longest time, like years, where basically, oh wow, I just hit my pencil and it flung up in the air. I'm just not going to pick it up right now. And it's the scene where the old lady's going, boo!
Yeah, we talked about this last week.
And I totally, for years, could not think of it. And I would ask people, and they were like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then, finally, I guess I was watching the movie. I don't know if it came to me or if I watched, I don't know. I don't remember now, because now I'm so aware of it. But it was years, like literally years, that I had this in my head. So maybe for years you'll have this in your head. Let's hope not.
So if anyone knows that movie that we are vaguely talking
seriously.
about,
Oh my god, girl.
that's in like the Dead Poet Society, where they stand up saying my captain, but everyone claims to be the same person. Let us know what that was, because I forget.
And like I said, I know a scene similar to it, but I don't know if it's the same as what you're thinking, but it is in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So they're all taking responsibility, and this is where they reveal that they are time jumping, and basically that they are useless. They can't do anything.
Right.
You could go out and search, but there's nothing you can search for because they are not in this realm.
Correct.
Then Professor McGonagall asks, what if she succeeds? And Harry says, then, just like that, most of the people in this room will be gone, and we will no longer exist, and Voldemort will rule again. But he never actually ruled, so I don't know why he says again. Snacks. We're riding snacks.
So, all right. Let's move on. Act 4, Scene 2. So,
the Scottish Highlands.
that was very beautiful.
That was the worst Scottish accent in the world.
you tried that, and that's all that matters.
Thanks, Mom. That was a weird laugh for me. Like, I went really pitchy at the end.
You did. It's the monster inside you, Satan.
Bottoms up and the devil laughs.
And you're reading Harry Potter.
Can you go to Double Hell? Because that's where I'm going.
Double hockey sticks.
Dun, dun, dun. So anyways, the Scottish Highlands, how do you say that?
I don't know. Avimore?
Avimore?
Avimore? I don't know why I just said that like that.
That sounds like French then.
Yeah, it did.
Avimore. Actually Spanish. I don't know why I said French.
Well, it sounded like French at first a little, so I'm with you.
The train station back in 1981.
1981. What was I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to make up some lyrics to 1985. It's Voldemort and Death Eaters and Dumbledore. What?
I don't know the 1985 song.
Bruce Springsteen, Madonna.
Come on, pretty mama.
No, not that one.
Oh, wait, I'm mixing it up.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. Oh my. You're singing Kokomo. That is amazing. That's like the best thing that's ever happened on that podcast. I mean, on this podcast, sorry. Oh my gosh.
Can we just like ignore that and move on?
No. I am so leaving that in. That was amazing. Oh my god.
Kevin often does that. Like he starts singing a song and I end with something completely different. Because I'm not tonal. I'm tone deaf. So I go by rhythms.
Yeah.
So if the rhythms are the same, I continue on with a different song.
Right. You did it. That was amazing. That was, oh my, when I went, I was like, no.
It sounds right, but it's not.
Right. That was amazing. Like, seriously, that was awesome. I'm totally leaving that in.
That was so loud. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. People come to the show for your laughter, Brittany.
Oh, God damn it.
They do. I'm sure they do. So, all right. So Albus and Scorpius are at a train station, and they're trying to figure out what to do. They don't know if they should talk to the station master. And, of course, Scorpius kind of is like, yeah, we're not doing that. Like, because at first I thought he actually talked to the station master, but I think he's just saying sarcastically, like, oh, hello. Right.
Hello, Mr. Muggle.
Yes. And then they're talking about, like, Albus is still worrying about, like, what his dad will think of them. Like, he says, oh, Dad will think that we did it deliberately, meaning come back this space and time. And then Scorpius is like, really? That's what you're thinking about? Like, we're trapped in time, probably permanently, and you're worrying what your dad might think about it. I will never understand the two of you. Albus, there's a lot to understand. Dad's pretty complicated. Scorpius, and you're not? Not to question your taste in women, but you fancied, well. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point, Scorpius. And also, you two are probably in love.
Yeah. Not to question your taste in a woman.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
So, they don't know where they are, but they kind of have to figure out what's going on about them. Mm-hmm. And the station master comes up.
Okay.
And I laugh at this because the first part of his sentence is written in a strong Scot accent, and the second half isn't.
That's why, okay.
Can you please read that? Because I will not attempt that.
Okay. I will attempt it, but listeners, I'm doing this for you. It's probably going to be awful. Okay. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay, I need to practice real quick. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
No, Miss Brody. Okay. You can get on.
I can't let that go without laughing. No, Miss Brody.
I love saying that so much. I'm going to say it again. No, Miss Brody. I love saying that. That movie is amazing, by the way. Maggie Smith.
What movie are you talking?
It's called The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. It's one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite books. It's so good.
I'm dying.
It's really good, honestly. Like, I never, like, when I went to, anyway, I won't even talk about it. It's so good.
Let's go.
Okay. You can, the old Rick.
What?
Hold on. You can.
You can, the odd Ricky train is running late, boys.
That was better than me. Sorry. All right, okay. Sorry.
Why is
sorry?
Scott?
Sorry. Look.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. Sorry. And then he's like, if you're waiting on that old Ricky train, you'll need to it's running late. I'm not doing it right.
What is he saying?
I know this is probably supposed to be funny, but honestly, I read this and I'm like, kill me now.
I honestly don't even understand. Because, like, when Hagrid, like, they write in Hagrid's accent,
yeah,
you can understand what they're saying.
Look.
If you're waiting on the Woodrick train, you'll need the kindling it's running late. Train's working's in line, and it's an ordinary man burden bin. I don't know what's going on.
Look, Brittany, it's comedy.
Late.
That's basically what he was getting at. So, Alrighty. Like, I wrote in my notes, I'm like, is the station master supposed to be funny? Because I don't know what he's saying. So, whatever. Yeah.
So they discover that it is October 30th, 1981.
Yes.
The day before Hallows Eve. 39 years ago.
Yeah.
But why is she? Oh.
Yes.
Bum, bum, bum. And this is Scorpius that figures it out,
right.
Not Albus, the dum-dum.
Yeah, and then Albus and Scorpius recite Harry's prophecy with Voldemort.
Yes.
And once again, I'm like, these kids have read all 7 Harry Potter books, so I'm not even going to question it anymore, even though the 7th book literally shows us that when people write about you, it's not always true. How would they know all this information? Oh my God.
Harping on it.
I will harp on it till the day I die. Gosh darn it. Anyway, that's my notes.
Yeah, and then Scorpius is like, it's my fault. I told her they could be broken. And Albus, in 24 hours' time, Voldemort curses himself trying to kill baby Harry Potter. Why does he say it like that? So they decide that they're going to try to prevent Delphi from what?
Well, they don't. Let me see. Hang on. So
basically, they're just figuring out that this is where Delphi has chosen to take place to help Voldemort kill Harry Potter,
and she's trying to prevent that curse. Yeah.
Yes,
she's trying.
exactly.
Yeah. So
by saying basically, don't kill him now, wait,
right.
or something along those lines.
Right.
We don't know exactly what yet.
Exactly. So got that. So Act 4, Scene 3. Mm-hmm. Godric's Hollow, 1981. So I guess now we know how they got there. They must have taken a train.
Yeah. How did they get to the train station, though? They're in the...
Look. Narrative economy. The boys are talking. This is a really short scene. Albus talks about how he has never been here. And Scorpius like, your dad never took you. he's like, no, he tried a few times, but I refused. And I'm like, wow, you're an asshole. Like, why would you refuse? Like, that's just what I don't get about this play. I don't get Albus what would make him refuse that? Because I imagine
he's being stubborn.
But even when he was younger, like, wouldn't have Harry taken him?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the problem starts when he was 11.
Right.
Getting sorted into Slytherin.
Right.
Because from what we can tell, their relationship was fine before then.
Right.
And so, yeah, probably when he was like 8, because 8 is old enough to understand why you don't have grandparents.
Right.
You know, and everyone else does.
Right.
Then he's just being a little bitch by saying no. I don't know if an 8-year-old could be a bitch, but
I think Albus
can be.
And then they talk about, Scorpius mentions the statue about Harry and his family. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Did I miss a part?
No, we're in the same chapter, right?
Yeah, and he says, my dad is a statue? Scorpius is like, oh, not yet, but he will. Hopefully.
Yeah.
And this house is where Bathilda Bagshot lives. And I'm like, oh my god. So I wrote Scorpius' second line. Okay. Oh yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny. Go ahead.
So I was like, the Bathilda Bagshot? A history of magic Bathilda Bagshot? Scorpius. The very same. Oh my, that's her. Wow. Squeak, my geekness is a quivering. I read that and I was like, oh my god. Like, that was amazing and made me love Scorpius even more. And then we see that they see James and Lily leaving the house.
The baby in a pushchair.
That doesn't make sense. They would have stayed in their house because they knew that Voldemort wanted to get them. They'd stayed in there for safety reasons.
Yeah.
I know I'm harping, but it's not that hard to keep them in the house and just look through the window. Like, come on. Anyway, and just give them extendable ears. Like, pretend Albus has...
How far does that spell cover, though?
Oh, actually, well, that's the thing.
Because it wasn't broken yet.
Right, and they shouldn't be able to see them.
Yes.
So they shouldn't even be able to see in their window.
No.
They shouldn't be able to see them at all.
Not at all.
Unless they leave, but yeah.
Yeah. So they shouldn't be able to see the house at all.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you're right. They shouldn't, yeah.
Because, yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But because they're from the future and they know what the house is?
Well, then okay. Look.
So then they won't need a secret keeper.
Right. I'm going to present an idea.
Yes.
Let's not even think about it.
we're gonna Yes, I agree. Let's jump on that train.
Yes. All right. So, Act 4, Scene 4. Unless, do you have anything else to say about Scene 3?
No, I just think it's really weird how Albus keeps referring to his father as Harry Potter in this scene. As if he's a mythical, not a mythical, but a historical creature that's not his father.
I agree. Yeah. All right. Act 4, Scene 4, Ministry of Magic, Harry's office.
Correct.
So Harry's in his office, and he's hurriedly going through paperwork.
Talking with Dumbledore.
Yeah. This is an interesting scene because this bothered me. Mm-hmm. It bothered me in many ways. One, that Harry was just so dismissive right away of Dumbledore. I'm not quite sure where that came from when he said, I don't need you. And they start having this discussion about how basically Harry feels like Dumbledore
is responsible for everything that's wrong here.
Yes, and the thing is, this play so often refers to the 7 books as if they are these biographies that were written, but yet it doesn't quite understand the 7 books that this play is based off of. Mm-hmm. That 7th book, Harry comes to terms with Dumbledore. That's his whole arc. Why are we dealing with this now? It's just weird.
Because I agree with you.
Yeah.
And it's because Harry saw Dumbledore as a father figure. And it's supposed to build that relation with Dumbledore and Harry as Harry is with Albus. You know, the defiant one and, like, always questioning the motives of the other.
Yeah.
and putting doubt and stuff like that. And it's just...
Yeah. No.
It's an awful scene. I hate this scene. I think it's very stupid.
Yeah.
Only because I'm not a big fan of Dumbledore to begin with.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because that's another conversation we'll be having at some point, I know. But I agree with... I'm not going to say I'm not a big fan of Dumbledore, but the more I read the books, the more I have such a hard time with stomaching Dumbledore, I guess. So in that way, I will definitely agree with you.
Yeah, it's funny how you pointed out at the very beginning, at the very top of the scene, Harry's telling to Dumbledore to just leave and leave him alone.
Yeah.
And then now we're entering the middle of the scene. Dumbledore is expressing how there's no perfect answer to parenting and we're all human. To suffer is as human as to breathe. And Dumbledore is saying basically that's all he has to offer him tonight. He begins to leave, and Harry he says, "No, don't go. You know, I need you. Like, I loved you, Dumbledore." Dumbledore, pulling a classic Star Wars line here. "I loved you, Dumbledore." I know. Shut up.
God. I mean, seriously. Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Oh, my Dumbledore.
Oh, my Dumbledore.
And then when Dumbledore pieces out, unless you have anything more to say about the Dumbledore scene.
No.
Okay. Draco comes in. Mm-hmm. And him and Harry are talking, and Draco mentions how in the alternate reality, or the alternate timeline, he was the head of, what is this?
The magical law enforcement.
Yes. And so they're talking, and...
I think that's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, he's like, maybe this will be my office.
Right. It's what I like about it is I can't believe I'm saying this, but it shows character growth that these two men, all their lives were at battle, and even in the beginning of this play were against each other. And now you see them sort of against each other again, but in a very playful, grown-up way.
Wink.
Wink.
Sorry. I love Drarry.
I know, me too. But I didn't even think of it, but you're right. Playful.
I'm just making things up.
I know. And Draco says at one point here, he talks about his childhood and how his father wanted for him to be head of magical law enforcement.
A ministry man.
A ministry man. Mm-hmm. And, Harry says, "What did you want?" And he's like, "Quidditch, but it wasn't good enough. Mainly, I wanted to be happy." Mm-hmm. And that's interesting because I think Draco... I still find the text a little problematic when it comes to Draco with the Harry Potter books, but I think there is something to be said about his emotions and what he's doing on the outside to cover up his real feelings.
I don't think that was... I think when he was a child, he was much more happier. It's when he turned into an adult in the later books when he realized things aren't as good.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Sure.
After Goblet of Fire, when Voldemort is actually resurrected.
Right.
And then, because his dad was all bravado, it was just the Malfoy name until now shit is actually getting real because they never expected the Dark Lord to be back. Mm-hmm. And now it's all coming to fruition.
Right. It's almost like he was really at the top of everything and equating it to something like just, again, like something like white supremacy where he is above everything. He doesn't need to be afraid. Mm-hmm. Then suddenly he does have to be afraid.
Yeah, now we're actually burning crosses. Right. Ooh, wait, I don't like this.
Right. So it's interesting.
Those internet kids that are like, haha, I can say anything behind this screen and hiding behind the screen and the keyboard. But now it's like, hey, let's have a meetup and drive these people out of town. It's like, ooh, I don't really like this.
Right. Right. So it's interesting. So yes. The only other thing I just want to quickly comment on, unless you have something else to comment on.
This is where it gets a little weird.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Because Draco points out, "Do you think Theodore Nott had the only time turner?" And Harry's like, "What?" Draco, "The time turner the Ministry seized was a prototype, made of inexpensive metal. Does the job, sure, but only being able to go back for 5 minutes? It's a serious flaw. isn't something you'd sell to a true collector of dark magic. Mm-hmm. So Harry's like, was he working for you? Draco, no, my father. He liked owning things that no one else had. The Ministry's time turners, thanks to Crocker? Whatever his name was, the guy that always stuck his tongue out in the movies.
Yeah.
Were always a little bit vanilla for him. He always wanted the ability to go back more than an hour. So Draco is admitting that his father has these time turners, and like this whole play is absolutely irrelevant because they had time turners this entire time and could have prevented all of this.
Yeah. That I couldn't even, like, when I got to this part, I actually forgot about this part, and I honestly was like, oh my god, I can't even, I don't even want to think about it, honestly.
It's so maddening.
Yeah, I don't even, what can we say?
His son, Draco's son goes missing twice.
Right.
He knows that, like, in the one time, he knows his son went through this horrible experience in this other timeline, and he's like, you know what? I actually had the solution this entire time. So I don't like this. I think this is a huge plot hole.
It is. It's just, oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. It is a huge plot hole. And like, the book just doesn't get it. It just thinks like, oh wow, look at this. We're clever. We got a solution. We know how we're going to get him back. Like, you knew this was going to be messy, and they just made it even more messy. It's just uncomfortable. So yeah, I agree with you. 100%.
And then they bring up ancestral curse. Which is why his wife died. Draco, we were capable of having children, but she was frail. A blood
malediction?
Malediction, a serious one. An ancestor was cursed. It showed up in her.
That's an interesting...
Well, I don't understand why that tidbit was needed.
Yeah, that's...
People die in childbirth. Like, it's not...
Yeah,
But you know what, though? That actually...
What?
They say in... I believe it says in the Harry Potter books that wizards aren't as susceptible to muggle illnesses and stuff, and they live longer.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's covering their ass with this.
I guess so, yeah. Maybe.
So, I don't know.
I agree. I wonder... I see some logic in that, but I seriously wonder if people would have thought of that. But, you know.
I just literally thought of it right now.
I do think it does explain. It's I don't know. But yeah, definitely something to think about.
So then they agree that they'll use this time turner to search for their children.
Correct.
Even though they have no idea what timeline they're in.
Yes. This is when I read this the first time, I was like, how the F are they going to get out of this? It is a Deus Ex Machina, actually, that blanket. Yeah. It is. Like, I understand it was placed there for a reason to come back later, but it's a Deus Ex Machina. The blanket saved the day. Like, just as Fawkes the Phoenix came and saved the day. Like,
at least that's a recurring trope in the book, to be in the books to come back in this
way.
Oh,
that's true, yeah, for sure. So, but it's like...
I think it's a stupid one.
Oh, yeah.
I think they wrote themselves into a corner and like, fuck, how do we get out of this? And boom, blankie.
So uncomfortable. Whatever.
Yeah.
And I love this line from Draco. Let me see where it is. When he's talking about like that line you just read where he says we were like about Astoria being cursed. And Harry says, I'm sorry, Draco. And then he goes on to talk about her health and stuff. And then I'm trying to find. Oh, yeah, here it is. Then he says later down, he says, because it is exceptionally lonely being Draco Malfoy. I'm like, God.
It sounds a little
dramatic and...
It sounds sarcastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's... I don't know, whatever. I think we should probably move on at this point.
Yeah. They say Draco's like, we'll search to the ends of time to find our children. Harry says we can't do that. We have no idea. It's up to our sons.
Correct.
So then we move on to Act 4, Scene 5.
Yes.
Godric's Hollow, outside James and Lily Potter's house, 1981.
Okay. So one thing I just want to comment on really quick is we've talked about how, and I've probably talked about this almost every episode, and I apologize for that. But my problem with the idea that these kids, it seems like they've read all 7 books as if they were biographies written. Mm-hmm. And again, my problem is that, like, when we read book 7, when Dumbledore dies, we read all these accounts that cannot be trusted. And I kind of hate when this play references things as if they are fact, and they know it, like, they know it by heart. Yeah. They know these things, and it's like, I don't...
Are you talking about when they're like, Dumbledore, we'll get Dumbledore to help?
Yeah, like, it's just... Like, just things like that they just wouldn't know. And I know, like, and we talked about this, how, you know, parents tell their kids stories, but this is Harry we're talking about. I'm sure he would have talked about it. I'm sure Ginny and Ron would have talked about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think. But yeah, anyway, you're right. Like, let's just, I won't even.
Yeah, we went down that hole.
Yeah. All right. So, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. So they talk about how they're going to get out of this hellhole. So they're like, oh, should we tell Dumbledore? No, that's a bit crazy. We can't risk him knowing things. What are we going to do? Shall help? I mean, it might traumatize a baby. Only slightly.
Yeah.
And then they notice that Lily has wrapped Harry in a blanket.
How did they get the blanket? Do we ever come? We don't. I think we ever figure that out. How they get the blanket?
Let's read.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It's like, yeah, let's read.
Yeah. So he sees the blanket, and Albus said he always said it was the only thing he had from her. Look at the love with which she put it on him. I think he'd like to know about that. I wish I could tell him.
Also.
What? It's Scorpius that comes up with the idea.
Okay.
To write on the blankie.
Right, yes.
Yes.
Because Albus is the one who says, like, the love potion. Or is it Scorpius?
It is Albus, but
right.
He kind of makes Scorpius say it out loud.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So they realized that when Harry gave this blanket that Lily is putting on Harry, Harry actually still has in the present day. And he gave, we know earlier in the play, the blanket to Albus. Albus threw it into a love potion.
Yes.
And they say that there is something called pearl dust, which is in a love potion. And they're trying to find something that reacts to pearl dust so that they can try to send a message through time. How does this work?
Invisible ink.
Basically. How does it transport through time?
What do you mean? The message?
How do they see the
because they're writing it now.
Okay, right,
and
that's true.
So
right, okay, right.
We have to theorize that Harry never washes his blanket. So when Albus throws it across the room, it hits the love potion.
Right.
Then they'll see the message.
Well, keep in mind,
in the current timeline.
Yeah, like, so they said that Harry wasn't allowed to touch his bedroom, so I guess Albus never picked up the blanket. Nobody touched his bedroom. They just left the blanket thrown by the love potion. Because that's what their logic is. They said, oh, well, my mom wouldn't let my dad go in there. But he'll probably want his blanket back.
Oh, that's true, because they had said... But the message will show when Albus throws it. No?
You would think.
Or is he going in just to, like, think about his son and picks up the blanket? I forget this part.
I was going to say... Perhaps when he throws the blanket, they don't even look at it. It's just thrown in a heap. Yeah. Where now the reason Harry goes back is because it's Hallows Eve, and he says he wants
to be close.
Right.
Yeah, that's you're why. Right. You're right. So that's what they figure out that they will write on it.
Yeah. So they. Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, so they break into Bathilda Bagshot's house because apparently they know she doesn't lock her doors. So, and I guess she just wasn't there.
You know, the rumor has it Bagshot never saw the point in witches and wizards locking their doors. So that makes sense. I don't know how they know it. She won't write that in Hogwarts of History.
I know. Pick me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Narrative economy.
Oh, you know what you just did? Delphi. Remember?
Yeah.
Call back.
God.
Good job.
Anyway, so, all right. Shall we move on then?
Yeah. So you have to realize they only have, like, 4 hours to do all of this, to break in, get wands, get potionings, and all this without being detected, right on the blanket. Yeah.
All right. So Act 4, Scene 6. So Harry and Ginny Potter's house, Albus's room. So Harry is sitting on Albus's bed and Ginny enters. And, he says, again, kind of reenacting this idea that, don't worry, I haven't touched anything, because Ginny told him not to touch anything. And they're kind of talking about his relationship with Albus and, how Harry says, I chased him away. I chased him to Delphi, basically he says. And, Ginny's like, stop, like, acting like the battle is lost. And they're basically just kind of reconciling with one another, like trying to just deal with the situation, I'd say. Like, they're just kind of talking through it. And this is another scene that I had a problem with, because Harry goes on to say, and I'll just read this part, I shouldn't have survived. It was my destiny to die. Even Dumbledore thought so, and yet I lived. I beat Voldemort. All these people, my parents, Fred, the Fallen 50, and it's me that gets to live? How is that? All this damage and it's my fault.
Survivor's guilt.
It is. And I'm sure he's still feeling that. But I don't think reasonably this is something that he would still need to talk through. I think this is something that he would maybe still feel, but not to this extent. Like, I think he knows deep down that certain, like, he's had years to do this kind of coping that we've seen off screen, and suddenly we're getting it now.
If he coped with it.
But it's so convenient that he didn't cope with it just so we could get it now in the story. Like, he's had years.
Yes, but I'm going to say you're contradicting yourself.
Why?
Because you had said previously, actually a couple times, Harry wouldn't have spoken about this with anyone.
I still don't think I'm contradicting myself, though, because I agree with that. I don't think he would have. But he already dealt with it for himself, I think. Maybe he wouldn't have talked about it, and perhaps maybe he's talking about it now, but, like, he shouldn't have survived, like, and he's talking about this, but, like, he knows why he survived, because he was a Horcrux.
He survived because he chose to survive.
Well, correct, but he was still a Horcrux. If he didn't have a Horcrux inside him, he would have died.
But he still could have died.
I know that, but what I'm saying, if he didn't have that Horcrux, he wouldn't have had that choice.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but it's still survivor's guilt. You could still have all of these emotions still be so potent 20 years later. 20, 30 years later.
It's not that I'm saying that. I do think that it can still be potent, but I'm just saying that...
You feel that it's out of place in this part?
Maybe not even out of place, out of place, and it's just too convenient to me. Like, this play, what is it about? We don't know what it's about. There's so much going on. And of course, not only do we have all these different things going on, but we also have Harry having survivor's guilt. Like, it's just too convenient for me that all these characters at this point in time have to deal with every single thing. Like, there's a checklist, and they're like, all right, now they're going to deal with this. Now they're going to deal with this.
Yeah, but I feel like he's been doing that throughout the play, though.
No, I agree.
Yeah, so it's not really convenient that it's only coming up here, though. He's had survivor's guilt throughout the play. When Amos came to him originally. And
no, I know. I'm not contradicting that. I'm saying...
I'm confused, then.
I'm saying that I don't think that it should be in the play at all. Because I don't mind it being... Like, with Amos, it's different, I think. Mm-hmm. Because Amos is bringing up these raw feelings or whatever. And that's fine, because then that makes, like, Harry's human, and it shows that he still, like, is thinking about that. Okay. But the play isn't about that. The play is about his relationship with his son. And it's distracting to me. It's like, we're dealing with this. I don't know if this is something that the play is leading us to deal with. It's just kind of sidestepping. Like, what is this about? Harry's inability to, cope with survivor's guilt? Mm-hmm. Or is it about, his inability to be a good parent? Or perhaps somebody could make the argument against this of what I'm saying, that it could be both.
It
perhaps
could be he's a bad parent because he hasn't dealt with his survivor's guilt.
Right. But I still think...
I'm going to disagree with you, Danielle, because I think this is important because, like, if Harry has never explained himself thoroughly to his child because he has all this survivor's guilt, then Albus is going to think that this is the way to fix stuff, to save Cedric. And then now we're on this whole thing. And Harry, at this point, knows that the reason why Albus went back is to save Cedric. So those emotions are being brought up a third time. And now it's All Hallows Eve. He's lost his son for a third time in the abyss of time, all because he didn't save Cedric. And so all those emotions are going to be really raw again. So I think that this is an appropriate reaction.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I have to disagree.
Yeah.
Because I don't like this whole thing with Cedric either. I don't like that. I think that's the whole point of the narrative that we got in the 7 books. I guess my point and what I'm getting at is that I think the 7 books handled it well. And I think the deeper issue of what I'm having goes back to the play itself, which I don't think we need any of this. I don't think we needed any of this. I think the 7 books wrapped it up nicely. Mm-hmm. I do take back a little of what I said, that I do think maybe he would have survivor's guilt and still be thinking about this, and it can be tied in. But I think ultimately what I'm feeling right now, and I'm unable to express it before, is that I just don't like that this play feels the need to
dredge it up again.
Yeah, like it's just so unnecessary to me. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and it's just going to be something we disagree with this part, because you don't think it's necessary. I think it's necessary for the play. I don't think it's necessary in the universe.
Yeah.
But I think it's necessary for the play to move, like, to add that background.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I wanna talk about it more, but I feel like we shouldn't because of time constraints. I really want to talk about it more,
Correct.
But no.
Yeah.
So anyway.
They're talking about his survivor guilt, and he is picked up the blanket. Says it has got holes in it. Ron's idiotic potion has burnt through it, right through it. Look at this. It's ruined. And it must be a very emotional time for Harry. Yeah. Because it's the only part of his past from his mother that he has, that his son basically destroyed. Right.
Yeah.
And Jenny points out that there's something written on it. And it's old. It says, "Dad, help, Godric's Hollow, 311081.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I thought this was really funny because we're American.
I know.
And I was like, 31181? What the fuck is that?
I know.
It's the British.
Yep.
311081.
Yes, it's the British way.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, so they start to see this message on the blanket, and they decode it. Mm-hmm. And so now they realize where in time the boys are. Mm-hmm. And it says Dad on there, so they know it's from Albus. Yeah. Which was clever. And so they decide to send an owl to Hermione and Draco, tell them to meet them at Godric's Hollow with Draco's time turner. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's basically it.
And then they travel back in time.
Indeed they do.
We assume.
Well, yeah, soon.
Yeah, because in Act 4, Scene 7, they travel back in time.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. We're at Godric's Hollow. They didn't travel quite yet.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Oh, I guess they're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. All right, Act 4, Scene 7, Godric's Hollow. So they're all together, present day Godric's Hollow, and they're kind of talking about the differences between when they were last there and now. And Hermione says like this weird line on page 272. She says, "You remember when we were here last? This feels just like old times." And like, I'm wondering, are you reminiscing, Hermione? Because that wasn't a happy time.
No, because you almost died.
Yeah, like, come on, Hermione. I don't have much more to say.
Yeah, Ron's picking a fight with Draco.
Oh, that's right.
Which is stupid. And then Hermione says, like, we're all on the same team.
Thank you,
aren't
husband.
We, Ron? Yeah. So, thank you, Ron. Thank you, husband. Sorry. You're right. Now this seems like a good spot. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And then they travel back in time.
That's that scene.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah. It's just like when they went to in last episode when they went into the ministry. It's just to gather the team back together again,
right,
to then move forward.
Right. So, Act 4, Scene 8, Godric's Hollow, a shed, 1981.
We find out that Albus is hiding, and Scorpius, assumedly.
Oh yeah, don't forget about him.
I know, really. Albus looks up, amazed to see Ginny and then Harry, and then he takes in the rest of the happy band, Ron, Draco, and Hermione.
I literally have no notes for this chapter. I don't know if you have. What do you have to say?
Let me read this really
quick.
I
say chapter. I keep saying chapter. I'm sorry.
I know what you mean, though. The scene. You got the note. We got your note. Cool. We could hug, too, if you'd like. It says Draco to Scorpius.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I feel that Draco and Scorpius would have a more intimate relationship than that.
I agree.
And so, like, I think Draco would have ran to Scorpius.
I agree. It says here, Scorpius looks at his dad, unsure for a moment, and then they sort of hug in a very awkward way. Draco smiles. I did not think it was going to go in that direction, because I agree with you. I thought, when he says, we can hug two of you, like, I thought it was going to say Draco runs to him. Yeah. And when I read that line, I was like,
I'm very disappointed with that.
I'm sad.
Yeah. Especially for, like, how caring Scorpius is.
Yeah.
You know that Draco was caring, because that's nature and nurture, you know?
Yeah.
So then they're asking where Delphi is, and they basically said that we have to wait. Harry's right. Time is of the essence. We need to get people into position. It's not a large place. So let's come up with a plan. Let's hide out in St. Jerome's church. Yeah.
So they're going into hiding in the church.
Yep.
Something that we'll talk about in a few scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So Act 4, Scene 9, Godric's Hollow, St. Jerome's Church, Sanctuary, 1981.
Mm-hmm.
Albus is asleep on a pew. Like, how long are they there? I mean, it
must be day that they went. I was gonna
say, yeah.
And they have to, because when they first pop up here, they put 31, so it must be early morning when they come in or something like that.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't know still.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay, whatever.
We're not even gonna, yeah.
But he's sleeping. My first thought when I read that was like, I guess, okay, this is like a very personal note, but again, we don't know how long they're there, so maybe they've been there. But like,
we do know that the kids were there for 24 hours.
Well, yeah, we know that. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But yeah, so he's sleeping, and so they're what? Oh,
I just thought, what's James and Lily doing?
Good.
Who's watching those kids? And Hugo and Rose and...
Nope, I'm done with this play. We're stopping recording. You know what, Brittany, you know what else is missing? Talking about our sponsorship for Audible.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Nice. I like that one.
Thank you. Yes, fine listeners. Today's episode is sponsored. You okay there?
I'm still laughing. I imagine these kids are just like, Mom, Dad.
Mom?
Dad?
They've gone missing. They go to the Ministry of Magic again. Stupid Albus. You know what? I bet they have a grudge with Albus because Albus sucks up all the attention of their parents.
I would be very upset.
The untold story. Mm-hmm. James and Lily and Hugo and Rose. Sorry. Can't forget Rose. But I'm assuming she's at school, so maybe she wouldn't, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But then she might wonder where they are.
They're all at school. So they won't be missing.
I guess Hugo's in school at this point.
Yeah, Hugo's older.
Okay. He's younger than Rose.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, I imagine.
I'm sure.
Anyways, talk about Audible.
Yeah, sorry. Audible.com is sponsoring our episode today. If you go to audibletrial.com/BaBaT, you can get a free 30-day trial to Audible and a free audiobook, which you can hold on to for forever.
Forever.
I heard that crack in your back. Whoa, baby.
Oh, really?
Not in my headphones, but I just heard it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll catch it. But anyway. So we recommend to you, of course, the Harry Potter books, because why not? We encourage you to get a Harry Potter book. Audible is the leading provider of audiobooks on the interwebs, having over 180,000 titles to choose from, which is pretty darn great. Yeah, so we definitely recommend Harry Potter. So once again, to get a free audiobook and a free 30-day trial, visit audibletrial.com/BABAT. It's a great service. I love Audible. I listen to it quite frequently. Alrighty. So back to the fact that Lily, James, and Rose and Hugo are possibly wondering where their parents are. But then, never. I guess they wouldn't be home on Halloween, so never mind. But I really like that idea of like...
oh, just the parents disappearing.
It's like a Home Alone situation. I made my family disappear. That's amazing, Brittany. That should be a fan fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody write it.
Yes, fans, you write it. I'm not going to.
I was going to say, I'm tired. Too many fan fictions. We've got enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Should I? I'm still looking up the movie where multiple people claim to be
that's
the same
going to bother
person.
you forever.
Forever. Anyway, so...
I feel bad.
Oh, it's not your fault.
I know, but I know how that feels. Harry and Ginny are reflecting on Albus, and Harry's like, poor kid, thought he had to save the world. And Ginny's like, poor kid has saved the world. And then she's like, but okay, sorry, I should read that. The blanket was masterful. I mean, he also almost destroyed the world, but probably best not focus on that bit. Mm-hmm. What were you laughing at?
I was laughing at that line. Because, like, is there no repercussions for Albus's actions in all of this?
No.
We talked about it before when the first time they get, like, and McGonagall's like, I think it's in the best interest that they stay here.
Yeah.
You know, there's no repercussions for what they're doing.
Because he did a magic thing with a blanket, and so... Cool.
Cool.
All right. So... what else?
Ginny talks about how Harry was the only one to really accept her after she came out of the hospital from the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
By playing Exploding Snaps. My point is, after all this is over, just remember, if you could... Wait, what?
What?
My point is, after this is over, just remember, if you could, that sometimes people, but particularly children, just want someone to play Exploding Snaps with. Like, because Harry wasn't asking her any questions, wasn't really expecting anything of her. He just played Exploding Snaps with her and treated her like a person. So Ginny's, again, giving him parenting advice, like, he's a kid. Just play games with him.
Right.
You know, but I think Albus is still a little more resentful.
I was going to say,
of his father to just, like if
it's
Harry's
different.
like, do you want to play games? He'll probably be like, no,
right.
Fuck off.
Right.
Like he did with the blankie.
I agree with you. I agree. I think the sentiment that Ginny's getting at is very nice, because I think that several examples in the Harry Potter books, we see Harry just effortlessly doing acts of kindness toward people that he doesn't think about. He just kind of does. It's his instincts. And obviously this is not a real scene from the books, but it's nice to imagine that it could have been a scene. So yeah, I
think that's a good point, though, what you just said. You saw, like, unthinkingly doing acts of kindness. He's overthinking everything with Albus.
True, yeah.
So that's a good point to make.
Yeah, very interesting. He is overthinking everything, yeah. And that's actually all my notes. What about you? There's still more of the scene left, but
there's more scene, but I don't know what they really talk about.
Let's see. They're talking about, well, he says, I'm lucky to have you, aren't I, to Ginny? And so this is when they start talking about why has Delphi picked today of all days to return to, and then
it's uncomfortable what Ginny says. Is that what you're gonna read?
Well, you read it, yeah, because
Delphi's picked tonight because he's here, because her father is coming.
Yeah, she
wants to meet him, be with him, the father she loves. Voldemort's problems started when he attacked you. If he hadn't done that, like, it's like, Delphi doesn't know her father.
Yeah.
And yes, she was raised by Death Eaters. She's created this image of her father in her mind to love, and it just doesn't fit this part.
I agree.
Because if you're taught anything about Voldemort, is he has no capability to love. You know, that's why he was such a strong force.
Right.
He didn't give a shit about anyone or anything in this world. So Delphi had to be just as delusional as Bellatrix.
Right.
To love her father. But you know she's not that delusional because she's not just torturing and killing everyone along the way, else she would have gone back herself,
right,
to destroy everything.
Yeah, it's a really bad attempt at making a villain to match Voldemort, and it's just
it's trying to create a relationship, so it's only focusing on a child's love for their parent.
Yeah.
That line is so forced.
You're right.
It's only there to create that.
That's really insightful, though, what you just said. It's I think it's trying to mirror the relationship between Albus and Harry and Delphi and her father, Voldemort.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's why I think it's very uncomfortable, because it's not, there's no love for Voldemort.
Right.
He cannot love. That is his whole problem. That was his whole character flaw.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't make sense. Trying to draw the parallel there just doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh, wow. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, let's just move on.
So they're waiting for Delphi to show up so they could spoil the plans. And ultimately they're waiting for Voldemort to show up.
Right. Yeah. So, they're just kind of waiting, and so we're still in the church. And basically, so Ron, he says, so let me get this right. We're fighting to protect Voldemort.
This is when they actually come up with a plan.
Yes.
They've been waiting around for Delphi and they haven't created a plan yet. So now they're creating the plan.
Yeah.
When the time is of the essence.
Right. I was going to say, they've just been sitting there casually having a conversation.
Yeah.
So, and I gotta be honest. I know I've been harping on this play, how much I don't like it, but dear God, this is so freaking off the walls dumb, this whole part. I don't even know if I could get to one thing. They're talking about using Polyjuice Potion to try to dress up as Voldemort, and then they decide to transfigure somebody to look like Voldemort so they can lure Delphi in.
Yes.
It makes sense, but my God, I feel like I don't know if I can express in words what this makes me think of. It's like a comedy act almost. I feel like I'm watching the Three Stooges. I don't know.
I think I don't think it's so much of a comedy act as just not thought out well. Because Albus says polyjuicing. I think Bagshot may have all the ingredients for the potion in her basement. We could polyjuice into Voldemort to bring her to us. And Ron points out that you need a bit of someone to turn into. No one points out the fact that it takes ages to brew a polyjuice potion.
I assumed that she, again, assuming
she has it in stock.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hermione is I like the concept, but let's do something else, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
It's a 12-year-old's plan.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's just, and I feel like it makes sense. I guess it makes sense with what's going on, but I think that's what's just so bad. That the play sets up this premise to begin with to force us kind of into this, like you said, 12-year-old plan. What else what would they do? I'm trying to think what I would do if I was in this situation writing this.
Hide, and then put her in a full body bind. And throw them, that's all you
do it from right.
Do it from afar, do it like a sniper. You mute her, you throw in her full body bind, and you drag her away. That's all you gotta do. Because Voldemort is gonna be so focused on his task, he's not gonna notice this random girl, And
even if he did, and we talked about Voldemort, his inability to love, and I kind of was thinking about this as I was reading, if she actually did catch up with him.
Mm-hmm. He's not going to believe her.
Exactly.
No.
Would he? No. He'd probably kill her.
He'd kill her and move on with his life.
Actually, I just thought of, in the 7th book, there's a scene where Harry has a memory of that night when Voldemort came to Godric's Hollow, and a little child walked... Or is it a child? I think it is a child on Halloween, and Voldemort kills him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's one of the memories.
That.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, what... He would just kill Delphi.
Yeah, why would he care?
Yeah.
He got his information from Wormtail. Mm-hmm. He knows where they are. He's going to go a straight shot. He blows up the... Well, he goes... I know the spell backfired and blows up the house. But he doesn't care.
Right.
Why would he care? Mm-hmm. He thinks he's the most powerful person in the world.
Right, yeah.
So a kid comes up to her and, like, yeah, she's 20-something.
But, yeah.
But what, is she going to fly? He's going to take that as a threat. Mm-hmm. He's not... She's done. Dead.
And he wouldn't even give her the time of day, I think, to even fly up, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. Do you...
They all volunteer to be transfigured into Voldemort. Mm-hmm. To lure Delphi. Harry's like, she'll use parcel tongue to, like, make sure it's me.
Right. I mean, okay.
Yeah, if she had the foresight for that, but I don't think she has the foresight for that because she only thinks that there's only one time turner. So,
yeah.
So it has to be Harry.
Yeah.
Harry's like, transfigure me into Voldemort. We'll all lure her together and stop her. That's basically that's all it is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, moving on, Act 4, Scene 11. Still same location, Godric's Hollow, St. Jerome's Church, 1981. So Albus starts to pep talk his mom, Ginny, because he notices she looks nervous. Mm-hmm. And then he talks about how he really liked Delphi, and like how weird that is that she was Voldemort's daughter. Mm-hmm. Which really quickly, I just thought of this, but like, Can I just get your opinion real quick?
Sure.
On the fact that Voldemort has a daughter?
Wouldn't.
Right. Okay, thank you.
No.
Just wanted to make sure. All right.
No.
Anyway, moving on. So...
Plus, hold on.
Okay.
So, I'm not going to go into a very long thing about this.
Sure.
He would have to have a daughter after he was resurrected, correct?
Yes.
His resurrection was fucked up, which is why he came out as like a fetus and not fully developed, and which is why he never fully developed as a person, because he also didn't have all of his souls together.
Right.
Do you honestly think he can ejaculate properly?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like,
you're right.
It's
you're
like
right.
it's like Twilight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, like Edward is dead.
Right.
He has no blood flow.
Right.
He has no sperm.
Right.
He cannot make a baby.
I'm glad you're bringing that up because this is books as bad as Twilight. Yeah.
So I think that's a good parallel for this, because I don't think Voldemort would be able to reproduce.
Right.
In addition, his character wouldn't want to reproduce.
Right.
Because
Agree.
he wouldn't want an heir.
Right.
Because if you have an heir, that means you're going to die. And his biggest fear is death. Mm-hmm. So he's not going to want him running all over the place, especially somebody that's going to have his same blood and be raised by him and possibly want his power.
Correct.
Because he rules by fear.
Yes.
So I don't think it makes logical sense for Voldemort to have a child.
And something that I think
especially
about...
with Bellatrix.
I agree, and like 100% with what you just said. And I honestly, like, when I think of Voldemort, I've never thought of him as being sexual in any way.
No.
Honestly,
definitely asexual.
Exactly. I would think he'd be asexual. Funny that J.K. Rowling doesn't comment on that.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that's obvious.
F J.K. Rowling. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's not very nice.
Sorry. I say that because I just hate... I won't even go on the tangent. I'm just so annoyed with her comments and stuff. But yeah, so... okay, so we're in agreement on that. So, again, scene 11. So then Albus starts, going into a guilt phase.
Mm-hmm. It's all my fault. Jenny says how funny. Your dad seems to think it's all his. Strange pair that you are.
And I think this does come back because they do have a conversation, Harry and Albus, later, which we'll get to, so I won't comment on it just yet. So then they see her coming. Scorpius sees her. Yeah. And she's seen Harry as Voldemort. Mm-hmm. So they all hide, and they're okay, so if I understand this correctly, they're all hiding outside of the church, and Harry's the only one inside.
I think he's at the altar, and they're up in the sanctuary. That's how I see it. So she has to come into the hall.
Right.
Yes. So they're not outside the church.
Well, because remember, she closes the doors so they can't get in.
Yes, but when's the last time you've been, you're Catholic, right? So the vestibule, like when you cut the greeting hall.
I see what you're saying.
And then up on the altar, the long hall. So I imagine they're up in where the chorus would be in the organ. Okay. Or like on the sides. She might not have exited the entry hall yet into the actual church.
Gotcha. Okay.
Into this, not the steeple, but like, what I mean? That entry hall. Right. Where you're supposed to leave your worries and everything and then go into the actual.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
That's how I'm imagining it. Like in that little entry hall.
Okay. I'll settle for that. I think, I like that. So, Harry, is like, whichever witch or wizard is following me, I assure you, you will regret it. I know that was a terrible reading of Voldemort.
Also, he's not in his snake form.
I was wondering, like, would they know what he looks like? I don't know if that's... Exactly. Yeah. I actually wrote that down. Do we know what Voldemort looked like at this time? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's... Yeah, that's a good point.
Harry would.
Would he?
Harry would. He saw him in the diary when he showed him...
Yeah, I was going to say... Well, he didn't look like that, though, not at that time. His features were already fading. And I say that because Dumbledore says that when he comes to return to the school for a job, and Dumbledore's like, I know what you've done, Tom. And at that point, he was already calling himself Voldemort. Mm-hmm. So I think even then, his good looks were fading. So he
still wasn't snaky.
No. Yeah, you're right. No, yeah, you're totally right. He wasn't snaky, not at all. So I guess he looked similar, but he still looked because he had the Horcruxes, you know. So
I think he'd be like
maybe sickly looking.
Sickly,
yeah.
But not. You when you look at someone and you're like, that they were handsome or beautiful at one point. Yeah. And life just got in the way. That's how I imagine it.
Yes.
Just very definitely true. Not his deformed look, but I think he's deformed.
Right.
In this part. So that doesn't make sense.
Right. I do wonder. I'm wondering in the play, this will have to be something we ask Katie. Mm-hmm. If in the play, what does Voldemort look like?
Yeah. We'll have to ask Katie that.
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, spoiler alert. We know someone that saw the play.
Yes, we do. Yes, we're going to have a conversation with her. Posted very soon, listeners. Woohoo! So,
What?
Why did I write this down? Oh, actually, I have a note reel here. So, before even Harry Voldemort starts interacting with Delphi, we get this line from Draco where when Hermione says,
I love it.
Positions, everybody. And then Draco says, Hermione Granger. I'm being bossed around by Hermione Granger. She turns toward him. He smiles. And I'm mildly enjoying it. And I was like, Hermione.
I love it. And Scorpius is like, Dad.
Yeah. Oh, Scorpius.
Oh.
All right. So this scene is basically Delphi trying to explain herself to who she thinks to be Voldemort, that she is his child.
And she was born in Malfoy Manor before the Battle of Hogwarts. So, Bellatrix was pregnant when she was torturing Hermione.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all yeah.
Yeah. Weird timelines.
I'm just, I'm done. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And so, hang on one second, I flipped a page. So then she kind of shows off the things she can do. Like, she does a little bit of flying to try to prove to Voldemort that she is.
I love this line from Harry. I'm familiar with Bellatrix, and there are certain similarities in your face, though you haven't inherited the best of her. Shit, Harry!
Harry's throwing some shade.
Mm-hmm.
And then as their conversation continues, Harry slowly starts transfiguring back, which, like, of course. And Delphi starts picking up on it because, as you said, she is smart. Like, she can figure this out. So they start to have a wand battle.
Before that,
okay,
right here, Harry, Delphi flies.
Yes.
And Harry, as Voldemort, says, I have never met a witch or wizard who attempted to be my equal before. Bam. That's when he would have killed her.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about before, that he would just kill her right out.
Right. That's interesting. So. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's interesting.
Anyways, go ahead. They start fighting?
Yeah, they start fighting. And this is when she, again, we're not... She sealed the doors from your side. So, like you were saying, it could be like that they're on the... Yeah,
that is a weird thing, too.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm just accepting what you said because it
still doesn't make sense.
I know.
Though.
It's...
Unless they're really far... unless they're in the church and he's in the vestibule.
Maybe.
And she comes in and he's trying to pull her further into the church. She's not moving.
My question is, like, I guess nobody notices, like, that there are people in the church doing this big battle. Like, nobody's in the church tonight. Like,
I don't know.
They start having this battle between each other, and Harry, is trying to fight her on his own, since, he kind of has to, since the others can't get in. But then Albus finds a way in. Let me see. He gets in. He emerges from a grate on the floor.
Yes.
And nobody notices him. And then...
well, it's only Delphi and Harry.
Right. And they don't notice. And then he calls out, and they're going to fight, like, 2 against 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see. Oh, so Albus uses Alohomora. I guess so he's opening the door so everybody else can get in. And then Hermione is the one who binds Delphi.
Mm-hmm. I like that line, though.
Which line?
Albus, Alohomora, Harry. Oh, okay, so 2 of you, choices. I think I'll kill the boy first. They dodge it. You think you're stronger than me? No, I'm not, but we are. Albus opens the door. Mm-hmm. I've never fought alone, you see, and I never will. And that's where is it? When, it's in the first book when they basically talk about how Voldemort never knows love. And, like, Harry is able to accomplish everything that he does because he's never fought alone. And, then Hermione binds, as you said, and basically that's the end of the battle.
Yeah,
it's so anticlimactic.
It is. I honestly, I hadn't read this since it came out, and I don't know, like, not that I didn't like the ending the first time I read it, but I just thought there was more to it, and I was like, oh, that's it. But
Mm-hmm.
I bet they're depending on the actions, like the actual movement on the stage. So obviously,
so we have to give them grace for that. Like,
fine,
we have to.
Fine.
Like, it's a visual medium.
I know, Brittany. I know. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So Ginny, I also think this is cool.
Ooh.
Another callback. So Harry doesn't take his eyes off of Delphi, and he's speaking to Ginny. Ginny, has he been injured? I need to know that he's safe. Ginny, he insisted. He was the only one small enough to crawl through the grate. I tried to stop him. Just tell me he's okay. I'm fine, Dad, I promise. That's reading that recalled in the Forbidden Forest when Narcissa was looking at Harry, and Voldemort, I told her to make sure he was dead, and she's ensuring the safety of her own son, and to ensure the safety of her own son, she lied to Voldemort,
right,
and stuff like that. So I think that's like, it's not a direct parallel, but I thought that was a pretty cool.
That's something you saw.
Yeah, so insisting that the child's okay, versus the child is dead.
Right, yeah, definitely. And then Delphi says, you know, I only wanted to know my father.
Yep.
And, you know, Harry basically starts orphan-splaining to her. Says, you can't remake your life. You'll always be an orphan that never leaves you. And, you know, Harry refuses to let her see him. And he also refuses to kill her. Because... And Albus kind of fights back, and he's like, why? She's a murderer. Like, why wouldn't you kill her?
Albus definitely has a dark side to him.
Oh, he totally does.
100%.
I agree with you 100%. And I kind of wish that would have been explored more, because it's really not explored, and I would love to see that.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, and then Ron's like, yeah, it's annoying, but it's what we learned. I'm like,
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I'm like, come on. And so they say they're going to take her back to her time. They're not going to take her, because she says, take my mind, take my memory, make me forget who I am. And, you know, actually, it is kind of sad, that line. Basically, that she, if you think about it, Delphi's a really sad character, even though I don't like her at all. I don't like her character. But if you really want to get technical with it, she's a pretty sad character.
Yeah.
That she's been raised to basically be a sort of weapon, if you will, and she knows nothing else.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad.
That's how I feel about it.
I know. Yeah. I'm totally with you. So they silence Delphi as Voldemort's coming. And this is the part where I was kind of confused. They have to sit and watch. Well, okay, I guess I should move on unless you have anything else to say, because we're moving on to the next scene.
No, they finally just silence her and levitate her.
Okay. So, Act 4, Scene 12, it's still Godric's Hollow. Voldemort, basically, he's about to kill Harry's parents. And I was confused, and maybe I'm missing something, but why did they have to rewatch this?
I think he wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, Ginny goes, you don't have to watch Harry. We can go home. Like, let's just go home.
Yeah.
Harry says, I'm letting it happen. Of course I have to watch.
Right.
So he's taking responsibility.
Right, which is cool.
Which, again, I think is more survivor's guilt. A lot of times survivors want to feel the pain again. So, because they think they're deserving of the pain. So,
which would make sense to his character.
It would make sense to his character. But I also think it's a little silly.
I know,
because I think Hermione, out of all of them, would be like, no, the longer we stay in the past, the more effect it could have on the future. And then they would leave. Yeah. But it's for theatrics.
You're
this
right.
Part.
Exactly. That's why
because he's also forcing Albus to watch it.
Right.
And Scorpius.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. You're right. I think it's for theatrics. And I personally, I get that. I don't like... It's a very blatantly manipulative scene to me. Because of course we're going to be sad. It is sad. It's terrible. So of course Potter fans would be sad. Yeah. It's such an easy cop-out to me. And like you said, it's better to just leave. Get out of there. Go back to your time. While you still can. Things could change in a second, but...
Especially because Voldemort is proficient in occlumency. Yeah. He could find them that way.
That's so true. He would,
Plot holes.
Plot holes. Anyway,
so Act 4, Scene 13. We're almost done with this play, guys. Just stick with us a little longer. Godric's Hollow, inside James and Lily Potter's house. 1981. We're in the ruins of the house. And this is where Hagrid comes in. And I love Hagrid. Hagrid has always been my favorite character. I have such an emotional connection to Hagrid, I'm sorry. Yeah. So basically all this scene is rehashing what happens after the house was destroyed. Right. Hagrid comes, he finds the baby, and he's like, I'm going to take care of you. You must be Harry. I'm going to be your friend, whether you like it or not. Oh, my God. Because you had it tough, and not that you know it yet. And you're going to need friends. Now, you best come with me, don't you think? I think that is so cute.
I think this is like an Otto moment.
It is an Otto.
It so is.
Oh, but come on, you have more emotion towards Hagrid.
Oh, I totally do. I love.
Okay.
No, you're right. No, that's true. I'm saying it's an Otto moment because, like, I want to be moved.
You're not moved? Oh no, Danielle.
Let me put it this way. Okay, I know I have a cold heart. I'm sorry. It's not that I'm not moved. I am moved, but it's just another scene to me that's just manipulating us. Like,
that's true. I could see what you're saying.
Like, of course, like, we love Hagrid. Of course, this is a scene that would tear at our heartstrings because it's so sad and so like, just the way it's written, it's just so an easy target to get us to, that's why I say it's like an Otto kind of thing. Like, I think it's purposefully doing something to manipulate the audience to feel something. Not that I don't feel something, because I agree with you. I love Hagrid. I love...
He's talking to the rubble. Like, I want you to, like... I'm emotional for this.
I'm sorry.
Like, he's talking to the rubble saying, like... This is so weird why I'm getting so choked up.
Oh, no, I know.
He apologizes to the three of them.
Yeah.
And, like, he's about to leave. Mm-hmm. And then he hears the baby. Mm-hmm. Then he hears baby Harry.
I know. Yeah.
That sucks. And he lets out a sob.
Oh my God, I know.
I
know. No, I'm with you because Hagrid, I mean, he's such an important character to the series.
Yeah.
It is emotional. And I think your reaction to it proves like how moving of a scene it is. I just think it's just unfair.
It is unfair. We already went through this, like,
sorry.
So many, no, not you. I'm talking to the play.
Oh, okay.
We went through all these emotions so many times in the original 7 books.
I know.
Why are you making us do this again?
And it clearly, like, you're having a reaction that you want to have, like, so.
That they're looking for.
Yeah, and I don't want to take that away from you.
Oh, no, you're not. I'm going to have the reaction no matter what.
Okay, I just want to make sure, like, I hope, like, it, okay. Because I feel bad sometimes when I say, like, these critiques, like, because I'm just cold-hearted.
No, you're not cold-hearted. You're just more educated when it comes to this stuff than I am. Like,
I guess that's
you're more scholarly than I am when it comes to this.
Like, this much. Not that much. If that's the correct word.
For those who didn't see, she held her fingers very close together.
I'm sorry, I forgot this was an audio medium. All right. So, Act 4, Scene 14, Hogwarts classroom. Mm-hmm. So, we have jumped several months ahead.
Yes.
To the summertime.
Correct.
So, this starts out, Scorpius and Albus run into a room full of excitement. They slam the door after themselves.
I like this. They're 14 again, so I like this.
Yeah, so, what's his name? Scorpius. Why did I just say that? What's his name? Scorpius still likes, I know, how dare me. Still likes Rose. Mm-hmm. All right. And... Oh, yeah, there's this line. Let me see if I can find it. It's like talking about Albus's... Where is it? He has a thing for older women. Oh, here it is.
Where is that?
So it's on 301. Scorpius says, "Oh, you will undoubtedly probably..." Or no, Albus says, "I honestly thought I'd be the first of us to get a girlfriend." Scorpius, "Oh, you will undoubtedly. Probably the new smoky-eyed potions professor. She's old enough for you, right?" Albus, "I don't have a thing about older women." Like, because the whole Delphi
I think
thing.
it's really funny.
Me too. Just wrote, LOL.
And you've got time, a lot of time to seduce her.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I think it's so cute that Scorpius is so enamored with Rose.
Yeah.
She's a jerk, but I just think it's cute.
Yeah.
And Albus is like, "I admire your confidence in getting Rose." And Rose comes past them on the stairs. She looks at them both. "Hi, She walks away.
I love how you just said that. Hi.
This is only going to be weird if you let it be weird.
She knows what's up. She's got confidence, that girl.
Yeah.
And then we get a Scorpius and Albus hug. Mm-hmm. And Albus says, "What's this?" Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Does Rose know about what happened? Because she goes, "Okay, Scorpion King."
I'm assuming she does. I'm assuming they all either talked about this or... Yeah, I don't know who would tell her. Maybe Albus told her this information, or maybe her parents did, possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so I'm assuming she does. And this is the scene, again, we've already talked about this, but the whole queer baiting thing, this book has had a lot of scenes leading up to this, and I know a lot of people were very kind of turned off by this scene because the whole book had these semi-romantic scenes between these two boys, and then the book ends with them basically wanting to get girlfriends. So we don't really have time to really talk about it. We've already commented on it, so
yeah.
I think I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have anything to say?
I think it's interesting how in this scene we are coming to the realization of Scorpius being who he was in that third timeline.
Yeah.
Because they talk about Polly Chapman. He's getting the confidence enough to talk to Rose. Then he's like, "Let's go watch Quidditch." Albus is like, "I thought we hated Quidditch. Scorpius people can change. Besides, I kind of want to make the team eventually." Then it's showing a change in character because now Albus is willingly going on a walk with his father.
Right.
And then they hug.
Yeah.
So that's another change because Scorpius or Albus says, "What is this? I thought we decided not to hug. Wasn't sure whether we should. It's a new vision of us I had in my head." So it's Scorpius putting forth the best of both worlds.
Right.
The confidence that he has, but still remaining himself.
Correct, yeah.
And loving Albus as his friend.
Right.
And Albus is like, "Okay, I'll see you at dinner.
Right.
Bye." I think that's cute.
I like the comfortability of it.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's move on to Act 4, Scene 15. This is our final scene. A beautiful hill.
We don't know where.
No, we don't.
Assumedly Hogwarts.
Yes. So, again, this is the part where we know it's summer. Because I don't know if the last part actually told us it was summer. We knew they were at Hogwarts. Where this actually says, Harry and walk up a hill on a beautiful summer day. So Harry is talking to him about if Albus is ready for his 5th year, and how difficult the 5th year is, or a big year, I should say. And then Harry reflects on his own year, and then
you see how he quickly backpedaled though.
Yes,
because he started to talk about himself.
Right.
And then he's just like, "I did a lot of stuff, some good, some bad, a lot of it confusing." And Albus, not being as big of an asshole as he was, just says, "Good to know."
Yeah, and then Albus starts talking about how he had watched. Again, we already know, we've acknowledged this doesn't make sense with the Fidelius charm, but whatever. That he watched Harry as a baby with his mom and dad, and some of the stuff, like, they looked like they had fun together. So a nice little bonding moment, I guess.
Yeah, they're working on it.
Yeah, they're working on it, which is, it's nice to see. Though I'm kind of surprised, and correct me if I'm just kind of surprised, like, it's summertime. I guess they've never had a moment to be alone together to kind of...
Since October to now?
That's what I mean, like, to talk... That's what I'm saying. I'm poking fun at that. That they didn't kind of... Like, it's kind of funny to me. I guess maybe there's an argument to be said that Albus has been holding this inside and he feels comfortable right now telling his father, "Oh, I watched you as a baby with your parents. You had, it looked like you had a good time together." But it's just funny to me that they didn't, right after it happened, talk about it. So I don't know. Just maybe
it's a bravado thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I won't harp on it, but yeah.
So then we start talking about Harry's fears. He doesn't like the dark. He doesn't like small spaces. And I've never told anyone this, but I don't very much like pigeons. I think it's so funny. I understand the dark.
Yeah.
I understand the small spaces because cover under the stairs.
Right. That would make a lot of sense.
But what about, I don't understand the pigeons.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
So this is just to show Albus that his father isn't perfect. He is flawed.
Right.
And yeah,
this line greatly bothers me. Harry tells Albus, most people at least have a dad to base themselves on and either try to be or try not to be. I've got nothing or very little. Harry had several father figures in the books, Hagrid being one of them.
The
Dumbledore.
most important one.
Yes, Hagrid. Oh my God, such an important one. Sirius Black, Arthur Weasley.
I was just about to say that. Remus Lupin.
Yes, Lupin. Oh God. So
Mad Eye.
Yes, so many father figures.
There have been a lot in his life.
And it's weird because this is the very last part of the book. And like I read that line and I was like, oh.
Now this is going to be a little controversial.
Yeah, okay.
He also had Mr. Dursley as a father figure.
Very true.
He says specifically to base themselves on and either try to be or try not to be.
Correct.
So as even though he wasn't good, he was still a father figure.
Correct.
Who he didn't want to be.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So that's still a bullshit line.
I agree with you 100%. You're right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's just, yeah. It was just weird, like, out of, like, it's the end of the play, like, you feel like it's just kind of simple stuff wrapping it up, and even now, I'm still reading it, I'm like, oh. It just seems, it's like almost like an erasure of what we experience. Erasure?
What's that?
Or eraser, I guess. I'm saying erasure, like, I feel weird now, because I hope I'm saying that right. I thought it was erasure. I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to cut that out. Actually, I think this is your edited episode, so you better do me well.
I will.
That's okay if you keep it in. I don't care.
I'll have to Google erasure, and if you're correct, I'll keep it in.
Okay, good idea. I'll say, okay. It's basically, it's like erasing what we got in the 7 books of these father figure moments.
Yeah.
Even his own father arguably is a father figure in terms of the things he experienced from his memories of him and the memories in the pensieve. Like, it's just a weird, I don't know, it's just a weird line.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then also the line that you already read where you said Harry says, everything comes easy for James. My childhood was a constant struggle. Not wrong, but once again, Harry got a lot of things that a lot of, like Draco didn't. Harry got on the Quidditch team his first year of Hogwarts when you're really not supposed to. Harry won the Gryffindor team lots of points to win the cup in the first book. I didn't make a list of things, but if I actually did, like there are tons of times where Harry gets leeway for things and makes his life pretty easy. That's why Snape hates him. Like,
easy,
not the whole
11th year after.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're right.
Because and every summer he doesn't have the best.
Right, exactly. Like, so that's why I kind of feel it's like contradictory. Like, I know sometimes he does really struggle, but then other times he has his celebrity.
Like the summer he almost starved to death.
God, yeah, exactly. But he had cake. That's all that matters.
He had cake.
So anyway,
I think Albus is a dick when he says so was my childhood.
Yeah,
you know. I no, Albus, you're just a douche.
Yeah.
There's the only thing he has the problems a celebrity child has, you know, constant in the paparazzi and stuff like that. But I think it's different in the wizarding world than it is in the Muggle world.
Totally.
Because I don't think the wizarding world is as obsessed with celebrities as
not in the way we are.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because Harry would have been tracked down a long time ago.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're so right, yeah.
So, and Harry says, you're a lot like your mom. Bold, fierce, funny, which I like. Weird.
Yeah. He's like, which I think makes you a pretty great son. Like, I guess, like, which, like, if you didn't...
He's trying to make amends.
He is.
Like, it's so funny.
Harry.
Is still awkward.
Oh goodness, yes. And oh yeah, I'm interested to think what you think. Sorry, I'm interested to hear what you think of this line at the bottom of 307 when they're talking about the people who Albus is named after. And Albus says they were good men, and then Harry onto the next page says they were great men with huge flaws. And you know what? Those flaws almost made them greater. What are your thoughts on that line? Just out of curiosity.
I don't like it because their flaws make them why I hate the characters. Because Albus's flaw was that A, he thought he knew better than everyone. B, he started the alt-right like movement when he was like 20-something years old, and he realized his folly, and it led to his like sister's death. He is controlling and manipulative. Like there's not a lot of good traits about Dumbledore. Like he's presented as this grandfatherly figure, but he really isn't. Yeah. You know? And then Snape is just an awful person. Oh. You know, he's obsessive, he's abusive, he has a skewed sense of loyalty and what is lawful. The only woman he loved was out of pure convenience, right? When it comes down to it, like it was his first friend, so he's gonna like obsess over her for the rest of his life. He didn't care about the fact that James died and Harry would have died. He cared the fact that Lily died. He didn't care about anyone else. Right. He didn't care that he tortured Petunia, that he insulted her family, that he tortured all these young children, and just because he had this eternal flame burning for Lily so that his final breath is always like, no, that doesn't resolve him just being a complete bastard of a person. Yeah. You know, so no, their flaws don't make them greater people. This is pandering to the nth degree, as Albus, was it Scorpius that said it earlier? Or Albus, I don't know. Oh. But like, it is just pandering to the audience who don't do deep dives into literature study. The audience who look at Snape as a romantic hero. Mm-hmm. It's uncomfortable. Yeah. I agree. Couldn't have said it better. Said it very nicely. Because I agree. I read that and I'm like, and why don't they go back to save Craig? Oh my God. You're so right. Oh my God. Because they talk about how Craig died. Wow. You're so... Oh my God. See this... Okay. I hate this play. You know, I'm just so done. Anyway. All right. And then the play ends with Harry saying, I think it's going to be a nice day. He touches his son's shoulder, and the two of them just slightly melt together. Albus smiles. So do I. And that's it. The end. I'm like foaming at the mouth because I'm so excited for this to be over. Look. I threw it on the floor. And I tossed it on the ground. I just threw my copy across the room. That's a library copy. It's a library copy. I'm dangerous. You're such a rebel. My butt hurts so badly from sitting on this floor. You don't have to apologize. It's not your fault. It's this play's fault, Brittany. I'm glad we're done. Me too, but we still have one more episode to talk about the play as a whole. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, at least we're done talking about it. We talked a lot of the issues already, so I think that's going to be like a short episode. Guys. Can we just take a breath? Yeah, ready? Just let it sink in, folks. We're done. You know, honestly... I was thinking about like this season, how different it feels from last season. Mm-hmm. I don't think it feels so different because I felt just pained reading this. With Lost in a Book, it was painful, but like in a funny kind of way. There were good parts in Lost in the Book. Yeah, at least Lost in a Book. It's a whole. I don't know what to say because it's so different. It's different. Yeah. It's very different. We'll talk about that next time. Yeah, for sure. So, but, like, it definitely is different. Yeah. And some of it comes from us being so devoted to the story. Yeah, I definitely think we were being nitpicky.
But at the same time,
it's not, though.
I agree. Like, I call it nitpicking because it is, but I don't think nitpicking is bad.
Yeah.
Especially, like, it's not like we're saying, oh, well, like, I guess I won't say that. We can talk about this next episode, I guess. Yeah. All right. I just feel like I need to
decompress as well.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys.
Folks.
Hopefully you're not as stressed out as we were. If you were, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
How did you feel about this?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely, we would love to hear what you all thought of this play. Mm-hmm. And if you saw the play, let us know what you think.
Yes, please. Anyone who's seen this, let us know, like, what parts of this play that we really tore apart that were amazing.
Amazing.
In actual production.
Yes, indeed. And if you would like to comment on our episodes, you can actually see them on our website, BaBaTpodcast.com. Mm-hmm. And there you can also find all our links to social media and where to listen. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. I was about to say Spotify again.
You're so tired, so am I.
You can also find us on social media. Again, all the links are in our show notes and on our website. We are on Tumblr, Facebook. We have a group and a page. Twitter, Goodreads. You can email us. You can leave a voicemail.
There's so many things. Just please get in contact with us. We're begging you. We want more friends.
We are longing for, you know what, actually, secret, right? Yeah. Me and Brittany started this podcast because we had no friends. And we were like, we really need some more friends. So we thought, let's just buy some microphones and get more friends.
That's so funny.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You buy friends that way.
Yeah.
Your face.
I know.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting this is not visual. Like, I mean, it's visual between the two of us, but people are listening. They're like, all right, just end it. Just end it now.
All right, we're ending it.
All right.
So wait, hold on. Shout out to our artist who
Yes.
did all of our graphic design. Mm-hmm. Her name is Katie Hartung.
Indeed.
Or Caitlin Hartung, excuse me. You'll find her information in our show notes and our website, I believe.
Indeed, yes.
And our music credit is to Kevin MacLeod.
Indeed,
correct?
yes.
He is on iTunes and YouTube and like all the kind of tubes and
all
places.
the kind of tubes.
On the boob tube.
On the
I don't
boob
think
tube.
he's on TV.
I guess not, yeah.
But
He
yeah,
might be, yeah.
if you like their stuff, give them, drop them a line.
Drop them a line.
Let them do stuff for you.
Indeed.
All
Cool.
right.
All right,
I'm ready
folks.
for bed.
Me too. We are so ready to go to bed. So with that, thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for putting up with us talking about this play. Next episode, we're going to talk about the play as a whole. So please tune in. And then the episode after that, we're going to talk about the play, the actual play, with somebody who saw it. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be fun. So tune in, and we'll talk to you all next time.
Good night or
good day.
Good morning. What is it? Good morning, good afternoon, and if I don't see you, have a good night.